flashy for my taste, but this one is nice, and so is this one. Not bad. Now, who says that covering yourself according to the Islamic dress code means that you shouldn't look pretty? But if you're looking for something more original, there's even a better way to quench your desire to dress fashionably, especially if you don't have the time or the talent to make your own clothes. On my quest for a unique and fashionable manteau, I visited Sepide Abedi, a young self-employed fashion designer educated at Tehran's Az-Zahra University Fashion Design School.
I hold my fashion shows at the beginning of every season, and in my designs I consider the latest styles and fashion trends. I take my time picking the fabrics and the colors that are in. For example, this summer, yellow was my key color.
A new generation of designers like Sepide are now combining contemporary fashion trends with a touch of Iranian traditional styles. And their special focus is, of course, the manteau.
Women wear manteaus to go out, so it's considered the main item as far as women's wear in Iran is concerned. And I think our designs can even be interesting for foreigners. I believe that we can actually contribute greatly to the world of fashion. These buttons and the design are Chinese, but these two stripes are Iranian.
How is that?
Look, this dark red velvet is a traditional Iranian cloth.
So this is actually a blend of Chinese and Iranian.
Yes.
For anyone looking for something special, this is definitely the right place. Look what I found. I especially love the pockets. Sepide gets her ideas from fashion magazines and websites. She says it's easy for her to find the latest fashion fabrics and textiles that she needs, but complained about tailors that usually give her a hard time.
We have a rich fashion history and many different types of clothing in different parts of our country, which I think blending them with contemporary styles can turn out quite interesting. But sometimes simply nature can inspire me. I never thought that pink and green would go together, but once I saw a flower, and so I picked these colors for this one.
While many young designers like Sepide have individual clients, some prefer to have a name as their brand and create fashions for the mass market.
Liqe is used in Iranian calligraphy, and I picked it as our brand name because of our special designs. Our country has a rich history of visual arts, and moreover, the better part of this heritage consists of calligraphy, which I personally have a passion for. On the other hand, we should not forget that covering yourself according to the Islamic dress code means that you use a lot more fabric compared to Western fashion, so we can be even more creative, especially in designing women's wear.
Only 4 years in the business, and without any formal education in a fashion design school, Amir's latest creation has been a success.
Some of them don't have a topic. For example, this t-shirt, like the one I'm wearing, is siyah mashq, which is just a practice for the calligrapher. But this scarf, for example, it has a verse of a poem by Maulana on it. Now, these items come with a tag that has the verse printed on it with its English and Arabic translations.
Names like Sepide Abedi, Amir Hossein Rahimi, and Liqe may not sound familiar to most of the people living outside Iran in the worlds of Louis Vuitton, Chanel, and Ralph Lauren, but considering the continued trend towards global fashion, they too might soon be draping themselves in fashions from Tehran. Gisum Shahmadi, reporting for Iran.
Now, I'm sure many of you know that this is an extremely important month for Muslims from all nations all around the world. as well as being for Iran and the Muslims we have here in this country as well, as we're all celebrating the month of Ramadan. Now let's go join Feridun Sadiqzadeh as he tells us about the month of Ramadan in Iran.
Have you ever wondered at what stage you can see the new crescent moon? For the Muslim community, the first naked eye sighting of the crescent moon will signal the beginning of Ramadan. Fasting every day for a month is a Muslim religious observance that takes place during Ramadan, the 9th month of the lunar calendar, and believed to be the month in which the Quran was sent down to Prophet Muhammad. During Ramadan, all physically mature and healthy Muslims are asked not to eat and drink from dawn to sunset, both marked by azan, the call to prayer. But fasting is not just about going hungry and thirsty.
In Ramadan, our society goes through some changes. For instance, the business community is more transparent because they tend to observe Ramadan's ethics.
Thinking before whether we can actually travel and whether it will be any difficult maybe during the day if things are closed, whether we find restaurants and all that. But then we heard that travelers are actually allowed to eat right during Ramadan, so then that's not a problem. No, I think it gives extra spice in our travel a bit, so that's a good thing.
Because I'm fasting during Ramadan, as every Muslim is expected, I refrain from all traits of bad behavior, such as gossiping, lying, and slander. One tends not to pay attention to this sort of behavior, but Ramadan is a good practice, and the good behavior sticks with you even after the month is over.
Ramadan is also called God's Fest. Out of respect for this occasion, people are called to put their disputes aside and resolve their conflicts, forgive each other and ask to be forgiven. You can actually see this take place in Ramadan ceremonies.
On that note, I'm going to take you along for a visit to a friend's house. We are invited for iftar. Iftar is a light meal that is prepared to break the fast at sunset. On our way, I want to show you a couple of favorite Ramadan treats Iranians tend to buy for iftar. First is zulbia, which is deep fried dough covered with syrup or honey. Second is halim, which is a thick, porridge-like Persian dish. It is made of wheat, meat, and spices. Although our hosts were busy setting up the table for iftar, still I asked them to help us explain Ramadan.
The whole ritual has several aspects: physical, spiritual, social, and psychological. It teaches us to balance our lives. Fasting redirects the heart away from our materialistic world towards divinity. During this month, purifying thought and action is very important. Ramadan calls for inner reflection and rethinking of the meaning of life. On the other hand, physically, fasting cleanses the body and breaks the cycle of indulgent habits. And from a social point of view, fasting is a way of experiencing hunger and developing sympathy for the poor. So we remember those who are less fortunate and underprivileged. It's all about purifying one's feelings towards others.
Fasting enhances one's patience, self-esteem, willpower, self-reflection, and discipline. Through fasting, Muslims strive to control their urges and resist temptation. Fasting helps to deal with stress and trauma and to attain inner peace.
Iranians usually listen to a special prayer called Rabbana before the evening azan. After saying their prayers, everyone gathers around the table. It's time for iftar. dates, tea or hot water, bread and cheese, fresh herbs, sweets and halim. There are TV programs especially prepared for this month.
روز 27 ماه مبارک رمضان روز لیلة القدر است.
During Ramadan, Muslims observe Laylatul Qadr, or the Night of Glory. According to the Holy Quran itself, the Night of Glory is when it was sent down to Prophet Muhammad.